There's no playbook for how to grow a company. One thing that we were very, very lucky to get right was having an incredible group of people that we founded the company with. One of the really unique things about Chart House and Hughes Marino is that they had this incredible group of people that were cut from a different cloth than most places. Looking at the growth of Hughes Marino, I think it's kind of similar, where we started in San Diego and really didn't have any intention of growing into a national company, but we found our way through attracting incredible people, and there just aren't companies like ours in the commercial real estate industry. But once we started Hughes Marino, I started realizing how many things from my childhood experience at Chart House were influencing all of these decisions we were making as we grow the company. And, we're kind of having that same magical experience of growing a company that's really, really unique and really special, like Chart House was. My grandfather, Dempsey Holder, was kind of a local surfing legend in Imperial Beach. It's a little beach town on the border of Mexico. He was the head of the lifeguards, and my dad ended up being a young lifeguard for him. The year that he was finally allowed to be a lifeguard, he couldn't wait to be out there at the beach, up in the lifeguard station with my grandfather. And they really grew up on the beach. My parents had me when they were 19 and 20, very young parents, trying to make ends meet. And my dad was a lifeguard during the day in Imperial Beach. And he was a dishwasher at the Chart House in Coronado, which was the fourth Chart House. It was this kind of romantic early 70s era. He actually started there in 1969. They drove a VW Beetle, and my mom had a little store in Coronado on the main road there that was called the Sunshine Company, where she crocheted bikinis and sold board shorts out of Hawaiian print. And it was just kind of this quintessential, California beach scene. He was desperate to have a job, to make money, to be able to pay for his new baby and his wife, but he also just loved being at the Chart House. He said the people that he worked with at the Chart House were the most incredible group of people he had ever been around. He said this crew could have done anything in the world that they wanted to. There were 5 different Olympians, gold medalists, that were working on the floor of the Chart House. And the other people were from the Navy SEALs at the time, called the UDT. And he knew how to do everything at the restaurant, but he had never managed anything before. And they asked him if he would want to move to Connecticut. And he said, absolutely. What am I going to do there? And they said, you're going to be the manager of our new Chart House in Chester. And so he packed up my mom and I in a car, went and opened this restaurant with a bunch of people from San Diego that followed him, including his 2 brothers and my mom's brother, and lots of their childhood friends and people from the Chart House in San Diego. It was a big adventure. I mean, no one knew exactly how that was gonna turn out. When we first moved to Chester, Connecticut, I lived in the attic of the restaurant for a while. And then we moved to a home where about 18 other people would join us, living on our screened porch of the house. And I had literally lived and traveled all over the country. I had attended 10 schools in 12 years as my dad moved all over the country growing this restaurant company. I think, Chester, Connecticut was a pivotal moment for that company, for Chart House. And if Chester opening their first restaurant on the East Coast hadn't been successful, they might not have ever expanded on the East Coast. They might not have ever gone on to have 60 more restaurants. Going from a very small company to a much larger national public company was something that I just experienced up close and personal as a child, and it had a massive impact on me, much later in life. I didn't realize how much of an impact it would have until I had an outlet to, apply all of those things that I'd learned here at Hughes Marino. He would always tell me, I'm not going to tell you what to do, just know that you need to do the right thing. And you know what the right thing to do is. From as young as I can remember, he would tell me those things. And that's how they, led the growth of Chart House. with all of those same principles. It was very much a part of our family life to talk about everything that was going on at the company. And there are so many lessons that I learned along the way. It was wonderful that he was so open and sharing with all of that behind the scenes with me, because I got a front and center, seat watching someone grow an amazing company. Chart House wasn't just a job to people. It was a part of their life. It was a part of being something that was much bigger than just themselves, something that was really special and they were super proud of. And that's something that we have tried to emulate at Hughes Marino. For us to do that, to me, is the ultimate success of building a great company. Seeing how my dad interacted and how he led and how he dealt with challenges as the company grew. He did that in such a personal, humane way. I never viewed him as a businessman. I always viewed him as just a great person who really believed in what he believed in. Jason and I met when I was 16 and he was 18, and we were just entering college, and we both worked at the Chart House during college. The day that I met him, he told me he's going to be in real estate. Like, he already knew that this is what he wanted to do for a career from a really, really young age. We were around the Chart House environment a lot during college, not only by working there, but also by seeing my dad's leadership and talking to my dad about, the challenges and successes that they were facing as a business. When we first started building Hughes Marino, we were just doing things by gut instinct. What felt right to us, felt just intuitive. And it took probably a year or two before we realized, gosh, we're doing a lot of things like what my dad did at Chart House. And I think it's, much like my dad's story of okay, I've never done that before, but I can figure it out. Let's go make it happen. We're going to do it with great people. We're going to treat people the right way. We're going to do the right thing. We're going to give it everything that we have and pour our whole, self into this. And it probably is going to work out. And if it doesn't, at least we had fun trying. And it's something that my parents raised us and had a big influence on Jason to believe that, you can do anything you put your mind to, and to not be afraid of taking on a challenge. I mean, the worst that can happen is you fail, but it's worth trying.